How many of you plan to graduate college in 4 years or less? Maybe an extra semester or two? 6 years? In the US, you're not alone if you don't graduate in 4 years. The US Department of Education estimates that only 33% of students at public universities will graduate in 4 years, and less than 60% graduate in 6 years, meaning that over 40% of students won't have a degree after at least 6 years of college. As a college student, I know how difficult it can be balancing life, work, and school. However, I am still concerned with the low graduation rates across the United States. In order for the United States of America to retain its coveted position as world leader in countless categories, we must start at the beginning. All things are derivative of a person's education. I believe we must increase both our 4-year graduation and our 6-year graduation rates in the United States to stay competitive with emerging economies, which grow much more rapidly than our own. Both the state of Kansas and the federal government need to improve graduation assistance programs via student loan financing and relevant vocational education in 4-year programs. The first point I'd like to discuss is the cost of college being prohibitive to students. According to Forbes, total student loans in the United States alone has reached $1.5 trillion. This is the second highest category of consumer debt, outstripping both credit cards and auto payments. Only mortgages are higher. State universities should be profit neutral, meaning they zero out their budget each year. To accomplish this, there are a number of things they should consider. First, I believe tenured professors should be eliminated. The problem I see with tenure is that professors who have been there for a certain amount of time suddenly just get a pass and don't have to hit certain requirements anymore. I think this goes against the very nature of the educational system. Next, I think we need to restructure university requirements. As it currently stands, you need 120 hours to graduate the University of Kansas. And while I don't disagree with this number, I disagree with the manner in which we get those 120 hours. Often, I am required to take classes that have absolutely zero relevance to my major or my intended career path, including classes like Geography 104. Next, I think that we should increase online course options. This course that I'm currently taking is actually a great example. I am able to work on my own time at a lower reduced cost. All of these combine to make it easier for me to get my education. Next, I think that we should work on more favorable rates for student loans or work on private investment to increase the opportunity for students to achieve these loans. One way of doing this is by creating a government agency specifically for student debt. There's already the VHA, the FHA, and other housing-related entities that work to assist certain groups of people to get housing and mortgage loans. I think that the federal government, given the size of the outstanding debt in the United States for student loans, should absolutely undertake actions to create a government agency that would do just that. Next, I think we need to encourage private investment into student debt. If we could get institutional investors such as BlackRock, JP Morgan, and other asset managers of this type involved in the highly lucrative student debt market, not only do we encourage investment from the private market into student debt, we create more accessibility to the student debt for students. The final way we could do this is by crowdsourcing loans. Websites like GoFundMe regularly raise thousands and thousands of dollars for all sorts of activities, and they do this through microtransactions via the internet. Students should be able to post on certain websites like GoFundMe asking for student loans. I think that this would allow other students who wouldn't have the opportunity to go to college to be able to receive funding. Next, I think one of the biggest issues we have with graduation is relevancy of a college education. For many students, the question is, will college help me get a job? As such, I think that colleges should be more vocationally focused. I think that we need to modify requirements for certain students, such as lowering liberal arts requirements for business school students or pre-med students. First, this will give you more time to specialize. Many students want to get a general education, and while I understand that breadth of knowledge is important, at the same time, by the time you graduate college, you really have a very, very narrow, limited scope of information. I think that by spending more time to focus and specialize in what you actually want to do or go into will assist students in being ready for life after college. Next, I think that universities, professional schools should require either work or internships as part of your education process. This will give you relevant real-world experience, which you can then translate into a job after college. Additionally, it will help you start working on personal and social skills, which will be necessary to your development after college. Next, I think that we need to improve the relationship between schools and students and jobs and recruiters. The earlier you start looking for opportunities and interacting with recruiters, the more opportunities you can have. I think it's never too early to start looking for jobs or the job search process, as it is often very long and takes time. More practice also allows for more comfort and skill in these endeavors. Your first interview is not going to be nearly as good as your fifth or sixth interview. So I think that if you get started on this process early, you'll develop much more skills. College ain't cheap, physically, emotionally, and economically. From textbooks to housing to socializing, not to mention classes and other administrative fees. A four-year degree is out of the question for many. Government-private industry-led programs can unlock billions in deployable capital to help millions of students achieve their dreams of attending college. For others, the question is whether the effort is worth it or not. By focusing college on preparing students for life afterwards, colleges will incentivize their students to complete their education. By the way, these problems are interrelated. Students who take out loans, then drop out, are less likely to repay their loans than students who complete their degrees. As we are all college students at a four-year university, I think this is an issue near and dear to all of our hearts. While we often view our education as a personal consideration, in reality, it touches all the people around us. From our work to our families to our friends, we can positively influence and affect everyone around us as a result of a good education. Thank you.